All right, now to the 9 versus 10 matchup where the Indiana Pacers destroyed the Charlotte Hornets 144 to 117. 8 Pacers scored in double figures, including DeBontis Sabonis and Malcolm Brogdon, as the Pacers led by 24 at the end of the first half and by as many as 39 in the fourth quarter. Miles Bridges led Charlotte with 23 points, but there were few other bright spots as Terry Rozier and LaMelo Ball had disappointing nights. Indiana moves on to play Washington tomorrow night, as we said, and Charlotte's season is over. Drink, do you believe this dud of a game put a damper on some of that play-in tournament hype?
No, I don't. Listen, we have to understand this is the play-in tournament, and it's the 7 seed through 10 seed. These ain't the top 4 teams. You know what I'm saying? The best of the best, the cream of the crop. You know what I'm saying? This is a reason why the play-in tournament is not considered part of the playoff, because they want to take the two of the best of the rest, I guess you can say. They want to take the 2 best of those teams and then put them in the playoff format to play the better teams, and then let's see what we got. So with that said, we could feel that one of these teams won't show up because it's a reason why they're in this scenario from the beginning. Last night it was the Hornets. Now, I'm going to tell you like this. Another reason it didn't put a damper on it for me, who the hell seen the Pacers scoring 144 points? Like, really?
Yeah.
Like, really? Like, 100. Yo, you had to be like, this game is a blowout, but the Pacers scored 104. Who the hell gave them enough firepower to score 144 points? Then you go and look, you break it down, you see it was a complete team effort for the most part. So,
yeah, it's not like Boston got one guy scoring 50 and that's where it came from. Yeah, it's
right.
Eight
what
dudes
I'm saying?
in double figures.
Listen, the Hornets they wasn't up to par. That's all it is to it. They was missing Gordon Hayward. They wasn't up to par. And for my money, I felt like, I don't know if Gordon Hayward was like the glue, but what I was looking at last night with the Hornets, I thought I seen, some uncohesiveness between Rozier and Ball. They didn't look really like they was enjoyed playing with each other. Bridges usually get put on a show. He was playing, but it was like, last night the best player I thought I seen last night for the Hornets was Zeller. I'm just gonna be real. Zeller he looked like the guy last night. Every time he touched the ball, I found myself saying, just let Zeller do something with the ball. Like, he the only one that looks like he's like aggressively trying to get something done. He's setting his picks. He rolling to the goal. He's making plays on defense. Let him do it. Like, whatever. And I was like frustrated because I'm like, for you to get in this game, get a chance to, like, I'm not saying you was going to do anything once you got in the playoffs because I don't believe in you that much. But you did have the national platform to get people excited about you. And when I say people, your Charlotte fan base, to get them rallied behind you or get more fans rallied behind you. This ain't it. Like, when people see this, they're going to be like, oh, that was just the Hornets. We knew that. But this is not a true example of how they've been playing this year. You hear the announcers, they was talking about Gordon Hayward and his impact. And like I told you before the show, I guess Gordon Hayward's impact was a lot more than I gave him respect for. Because this team looked like a team that shouldn't even been in the play-in tournament, let alone the playoffs. Like, they shouldn't even been in the play-in tournament. They should have been back there with the Orlando Magic or something. But listen, it happens. It happens. We're going to see this in the playoffs. That's why I can't be like, oh, man, that game was trash, get rid of the tournament. Because when it happens in the playoffs, we're not going to say, oh, man, get rid of the playoffs. We're just going to be like, listen, they didn't show up. They got smoked. That is what it is. So, no, man, I would say it didn't put a damp on it. If anything, it gave me something to be quite surprised about when I seen the Pacers put up 144. Now, my question is, will the Pacers be able to replicate that against the Wizards tomorrow night? That's what I want to know. If y'all gonna come out, I tell you what, if the Pacers come out here and score like 130 tomorrow night, win or lose, I feel like the Pacers been playing possum all year. They've been playing possum because there's no way you start putting all these points up at the end of the season and you couldn't find a way to get it done in the mid part of the season. I give you the beginning of the season. Everybody got to get adjusted. But by All-Star break, we got to have it figured out what we're going to do. Now you want to wait until the play-in tournament and start dropping buckets. I mean, that kind of, surprised me more than anything. So to answer the question, it did not put a damper on my tournament hype. I still like the play-in tournament, and I want to see more.
Yeah, I don't think this game by itself, definitely not for me. It didn't put a damper on. I'm not that excited about it to begin with. But I do think, if you're just a general run-of-the-mill NBA fan, this type of game you have to look at it and kind of say, is this really is this anything more than like a gimmick? Because, and it was kind of like, I think it was something I should have seen coming when Charlotte gets off to it's pretty evident early on that they just getting killed. I mean, I've never seen Doug McDermott play that well since his days at Creighton. I don't know what the Dougie McBuckets and all that. He ain't been that since his Creighton days. Like, stop playing. And but I mean, Doug McDermott's doing his thing. He's doing whatever he wants. You got O'Shea Brissett, who I didn't even know was a factor in anything. I ain't seen him since he played ball at Syracuse. Really good player. Led the team in scoring last night. But I mean, once Charlotte got down, it's pretty easy for me to look at this and say, if I'm a Charlotte Hornet, I'm getting my rear end beat. That, guys, we can make a little comeback here, I suppose, and go on to the 8-9 game, and maybe we win that one, and then we got to play Philly. You know what? Maybe we should just, is it really worth it, all that? I really believe at halftime, because I didn't see anything different when they came back out the locker room. So I don't know if James Borrego even I don't know if there's anything he could have said hey guys, I know we're down by 24, but we can do this,
Well, you did see the unreleased auto when they was in the locker room at halftime, right? The unreleased audio tape. I mean, it was a tape going around. I heard 1, 2, 3 Cancun. I don't know where they get that from, who was saying it, but that's what I heard. I don't know,
All the travel sites were blowing up at halftime in Indiana from the Charlotte locker room. That was so bad. I'd be interested to see if you agree with me on this. I have never seen so many easy baskets take place off of inbounds plays. It seemed like there were at least 5 different occasions where the Pacers had the ball underneath the Hornets basket, and there's just a dude in the paint wide open for a layup or a dunk. I've never seen that an NBA team play out of bounds defense so poorly, and it was just over and over and over. I'm telling you. And another thing. Speaking of backup point guards, we gave props to Ish Smith. Give some props to TJ McConnell too. This guy is the most unassuming NBA player. I don't think there's a more unassuming NBA player, and yet he is just doing whatever he felt like last night. Right. And God, I mean, and then you look at obviously, the Gordon Hayward point is valid on all levels. I think he's been a little bit underappreciated since his Utah days. Had the injury in Boston. Then, Brad Stevens playing him above Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown in that one season. Kind of fell out of favor. But I mean, he had a good year in Charlotte, and they certainly could have used him. I don't think he makes that much of a difference in this game. But just domination in every sense of the world, in every sense of the word. And I'd be interested to see how the Spurs-Grizzlies game goes. That'll tip probably in about 10, 15 minutes. But I'd be interested to see if we see a little bit of a similar thing. I don't think we will. With Memphis. I think Memphis will be ready to play, and they'll play hard. And it's hard to imagine a Greg Popovich team just going out there and laying an egg like Charlotte did last night. But I do think as we move forward and if they keep going with this, I think it's possible that we could see more games in the 9 and 10 like this.
So my question for you: if you was a commentator for this game, how do you stay focused on this game?
Oh yeah, great point. I don't know, but you'll see this from time to time when games like this happens. I love the best NBA team in broadcasting is Mike Breen, JVG, and Mark Jackson. When games get out of hand like this, they'll just talk about anything. They'll forget calling the game. And I looked at. But I'm glad you went back to the commentators because I didn't want to leave out this point because I'm starting to I'm gonna start calling out these announcers for this nonsense. And I got to tell you, I don't know where Kevin Harlan and Reggie Miller were. I definitely would have liked to hear from them a little bit more. But the quality of this game matched the broadcast crew. The Spiro Ditas and Greg Anthony. I don't get the Greg Anthony. I don't find him interesting, or I don't even look at his career and find him interesting. Like, he went to UNLV and then he played for the Knicks at one point. Did he do anything? What did he win of significance? But anyway, early on in the first half, and I know you may have missed this, Spiro Ditas had the audacity to talk about a minutes restriction when it came to Malcolm Brogdon. A minutes restriction. I know he missed I don't know, a handful of games with a whatever injury he had. I don't even know. I don't even remember what it was. But he said the phrase minutes restriction. I'm like, this is not like I said, not an official playoff game, but for all intents and purposes, it is. No one wants to hear about minutes restrictions. If you want to talk about, he's coming off an injury and they got to manage that in a certain way, but I don't want to talk about minutes restrictions. What are you saving somebody for? I couldn't believe it when I heard it. I was like, God, that is so mediocre. And just a perfectly demonstration of his broadcasting skills. This is the same dude, by the way, totally off topic now. We're off the rails. This is the guy who about year after year, he the same dude that'll call like every Texans-Jaguars game on earth, because that's not a game that, you'll see the great Jim Nantz or Tony Romo calling.
I mean, somebody got to call it.
Terrible.
You don't whip out the AT for them, so somebody got to call it.
Nor the Hornets and Pacers.
Yeah.